What we are witnessing right now in Kiryat Shmona is extraordinary. Reports of a massive evacuation are spreading quickly across the media despite Benjamin Netanyahu's attempt to contain the situation and keep it out of the public eye. The evacuation order issued 2 days ago has emptied almost the entire city in northern occupied Palestine. The tension is unmistakable and fear is rising across Israel as many believe Iran may launch a surprise strike. That fear became even more intense when 6 Israeli F-35s broke the sound barriers over Iraq, prompting Iran to send 10 MiG fighter jets to secure its airspace and prevent any unexpected escalation. Residents in the north are now openly voicing their frustration. Many have obviously joined protest against Netanyahu's decision to run for office again. Some estimates suggest that around 100,000 people have been moved, including those living near the greater Tel Aviv region. Many describe this as the largest evacuation since October 7. Markets are short, streets are empty, and the remaining 10% of residents say panic has taken over. During a recent visit to one of the northern town, Evin Ben-Gvir, the extremist minister known for his provocative behavior, was reportedly beaten and stoned by angry settlers. That alone shows you just how serious this moment is. And it's also revealed something deeper. Some members of the settler communities are beginning to realize that this occupation may be collapsing sooner than they expected. But before I continue, kindly take a moment to like and share this video. Tell me what you think in the comments. I'm really interested to know. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's completely free and it would help my work reach a wider audience. Now, let's continue. You see, Netanyahu is now facing a new wave of corruption allegations, and his court hearings were expected to be accelerated this season. If found guilty, and I mean the evidence against him is pretty strong, he could be imprisoned. In response, he's once again reaching for the same strategy he has used for the past 3 years, creating chaos to distract from his legal troubles. Recall that the United Nations recently confirmed that 127 civilians in Lebanon have been killed in Israeli strikes during a supposed ceasefire. Just imagine that. As some analysts have put it, for Israel, a ceasefire often means you cease and we fire. And this is what some Western leaders still describe as civilization? Pathetic. Netanyahu's behavior has become a direct assault on the moral foundations the West claims to uphold, and that's just the truth. And Tucker Carlson said it plainly, and I think this is worth listening. Just take a listen.
They're enemies of Western civilization. Who are these people? Are they the Muslims? Are they the Jews? Are they, whatever people have always... No. They're not the Muslims. They're not the Jews. They're not the blacks. They're not whatever group you're blaming. They're any individual who doesn't acknowledge the human soul. Period. That the rights begin and end with the individual, not the group. Therefore, an attack on Western civilization looks like this. It's tribalism, it's identity politics, it's DEI, it's whatever, it's Zionism, it's any belief system that begins with the understanding that one group is morally superior to other groups. We don't think in terms of groups as Christians or Westerners, we think in terms of the individual. It's literally that simple. And the reason it's important to say this out loud is because there are so many interests vying for the mantle of defender of Western civilization. What does it mean to defend the West? I'm a Western, Netanyahu, I'm a defender of Western civilization. No, you're its enemy, of course. You're literally its main enemy. Why? Because I don't like you. It has nothing to do with that. The reason that Netanyahu is an enemy of Western civilization is because he believes and has said out loud that we're fighting these people because of how they were born, because of their inherent evil. We don't believe in that. We believe every person is inherently flawed, but salvageable because God made every person. Why are the Nazis bad? The Nazis are bad because for that exact same reason. And so if you want to defend the West, you defend a single proposition, and everything emanates from that proposition. The individual has rights, which were given to him by God. Period. You don't have to be a Christian to defend that principle. There are a ton of Muslims and Jews and everybody else who believe that. So it's not about hate this group, hate that group. All of that shit is anti-Western.
Professor John Mearsheimer has long warned the world about war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu's extremist impulses. He has been remarkably clear and very blunt about his position that Netanyahu's gambles have failed in Iran, in Lebanon, and recently in Gaza. Mearsheimer argues that Netanyahu will be remembered as a leader who ultimately pushed Zionism to its breaking point in the Middle East. Let's listen to what he has to say briefly. I'll be right back.
The problem, as I believe I said to you before, is that the taproot of the conflict here is between the Palestinians and Israel, right? And if you look at Israel and what's happening with regard to Hezbollah in Lebanon, that's all an outgrowth of what's happening in Gaza with regard to Israel and Hamas. The only reason that Hezbollah is firing rockets and missiles into Israel is to support Hamas in Gaza. Iran is a different matter. Realism does not have much to say about Israel's conflict with the Palestinians. Realism, as I understand it, because it doesn't deal with interstate relations. It's a domestic problem. There is this entity called Greater Israel. Greater Israel includes Israel, the Israel that was created in 1948 and existed until 1967, plus the two territories, Gaza and the West Bank, that it acquired in the 1967 war. So when you talk about Israel today, you're talking about Greater Israel. Israel basically owns Gaza and it owns the West Bank. You know, we refer to them as the occupied territories, but as far as the Israelis are concerned, they're part of a Greater Israel. And what's taking place inside Gaza today and taking place on the West Bank is basically a civil war between Israeli Jews and Palestinians. And I don't think realist theory, as I understand it, has much to say about it. If you want to talk about what's realistic with a little r, I think the Israelis have been remarkably foolish over time not to create a Palestinian state, that it was in Israel's interest to give the Palestinians some form of sovereignty, some sense of a viable state, so that the two peoples could live side by side. I think creating a Greater Israel, which is effectively an apartheid state, where the Palestinians are subjugated, dominated by the Israelis, is not in Israel's interest, because you're going to get what happened on October 7th, just as you had a first intifada and a second intifada before that.
From where I stand, it's clear that Israel and Netanyahu are in serious trouble. The resistance axis will respond, or Israel may make the mistake of striking Iran. And if that happens, Israel could face one of the heaviest missile barrages in its history. And because American public opinion is shifting rapidly away from Israel, a future conflict may not receive the full backing of Washington. What once seemed impossible is now becoming increasingly plausible. Commentators like Tucker Carlson are already shaping this shift in public opinion. He highlighted the frustration many Americans feel when he said, and I quote, 350 million Americans are struggling to survive, and we send $26 billion to a country most Americans can't even name the capital of. End of quote. That clip reached 48 million views in 9 hours alone. A CNN poll later revealed that 62% of Americans agree with him. Support for Israel is collapsing inside the US itself. And then came the moment that shocked many observers. Carlson addressed Trump directly, and he said, I quote, I supported Trump, but prioritizing Israel over America is a betrayal of his promises. End of quote. That measure shook the political landscape and signaled a major realignment underway. Well, that is America for you, and things are going to get softer. Thank you for watching. Support honest journalism by subscribing to the channel so we can continue to grow and reach more people. Until I see you in the next one, God bless you.